Hey, Turnbuckle King here, TBK. We got another edition of Locker Room of Wrestling News, the November 23rd edition. Happy Thanksgiving to all. More news I will display. Stay tuned. Okay, we are here now. There will be several stories I want to talk about. There's going to be a few stories that's been happening in the wrestling world for the past several days. But first off, let's mention the first story, and it is Lex Luger addresses potential WWE Hall of Fame induction. Let's see what's going on with that. Now, it said during his Lex Express podcast, former WCW World Champion Lex Luger discussed a wide range of topics, including a potential induction to the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, he says here it would be enormous. His quote, "It would be a huge honor." I get asked that question a lot. A lot of guys go, "Wait a second, you're not in." A lot of people think I'm already in. A lot of people will introduce me as a Hall of Famer in WWE. They say WWE, and I will go, "Well, actually, I'm not a WWE Hall of Famer yet." I don't know if that's a factor or not, but it may be controversial. Some people feel like the wrestling world kind of shoved me up for quite a while over some things that happened outside the ring. I agree to that. We can obviously go into a proper time what we want to do in the future. Then he continues, so if I never get in, I still look back fondly in my career, what I accomplished, but man, it definitely would be whipped cream and cherry on top, and a huge honor if I ever do. Now, Lex Luger's been out wrestling for quite some time. I know he's been confined to a wheelchair. I know he has been the best of health. I know at one point he could walk, but he couldn't walk anymore, which leads to confined to a wheelchair. So, is this something you guys plan on seeing Lex Luger being inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame in the future? Could it be as early 2024 or 2025? Hopefully soon. We definitely don't want to see him inducted after he passes on, whatever that case may be. I would like to see it sooner than later. But that is definitely Lex Luger. I don't know why I said Hulk Hogan. I'm thinking of Hulk Hogan, Lex Luger. I meant to say just Lex Luger going to the Hall of Fame. So that would be good. I would like to see that happen. No story I will pull up in a second. And there'll be another one in a second. Let's see what's going on. So another story we have here. Bryan Danielson, he injured his orbital bone injury at first. Then his nose went numb. Now, the American Dragon set to compete in AEW Continental Classic, which was last night on AEW Dynamite. But what's interesting is, I didn't know how serious the injury I got. They say he was fine to ignore what may be diagnosed as a broken orbital bone until he found his own nose go numb. Now, Danielson suffered an injury at the October 21st edition of AEW Collision. It was a great match during the match against Andrade El Diablo. He was written off TV for his next match during the October 25th episode of Dynamite. He would later undergo surgery, but according to ESPN, I can't pronounce his name. You guys can see it here. Danielson's wife, Bria Garcia, was asked about his injury about the fractured forearm Danielson suffered earlier this year. He's made of steel. I know it's crazy. It's just one of those things that is unfortunate for pro wrestlers. You know, our body ages, but mentally we don't. I think his body's like, I think it's time to hang up the boots. Then Bree discussed the husband's nonchalant attitude to his facial injury at first before he was diagnosed as a broken orbital bone. Her quote Said he's so strong, I mean, nothing holds him back, even when he's got two broken bones in his orbital bone. He was dealing with the pain like I'm fine until his nose went numb and everything else. That is interesting. I know it got that bad. Now, Bryan Danielson, he is in his 40s now. He's been putting on great matches in his AEW career since he's arrived at AEW. But he has been injured. He's been injured at Forbidden Door and then, of course, recently here on an episode of AEW Collision. But it says since then he's been cleared for in-ring competition. And the first name announced for AEW Continental Classic, even though he was banished up in that episode, that's neither here nor there. The round robin tournament kicked off this week's Dynamite with Jay White, Jon Moxley, and Swerve Strickland earning 3 points. Danielson is part of the Blue League and is yet to compete. The Blue League consists of Danielson, Andrade El Diablo, Eddie Kingston, Brody King, Claudio Castagnoli, and Dale Garcia. So that is what's going on with Bryan Danielson. I'll pull up another story in a second. Now we're going to talk about MJF. Be two things I want to discuss with MJF. Now MJF here, despite his great performance at AEW All Gear, retained his AEW World Title against Jay White. He was banged up, but he's not expected to miss TV time. It says here, retained the gold, and of course reached the 1-year mark as AEW World Champ. They said he is legitimately beat up, as sources indicated, that his hip had to be popped back after a bout. He hurt his hip on his elbow, dropped to the floor. Sources also stated MJF's shoulder was banged up due to the top rope Uranagi. Now, this is source of per wrestle purist. MJF is set to be featured in a non-wrestling capacity while he heals, leading up to AEW World in December, brand new pay-per-view that they're going to have, first time ever that they'll have this event. He is not expected to miss any TV time. So that is confirmed by also Fightful Sean Ross Sapp. Then there's another story I want to cover with MJF regarding this. And speaking of MJF, I will bring this up as well. Now, while MJF, he's still hurt and everything, he's still banged up and all that. Also going to mention here, source from Wrestle Talk, they said that he has signed a new deal with AEW ahead of his return of All Out. It's the following the main event of All Out, which was back in October. MJF revealed that he had been a Joker who won the Casino ladder match earlier that night. The first show. Now it says here, speaking with Ariel Helwani of MMA Hour, MJF revealed that he had signed a new deal with the company, but stated it was for no additional time. Noting he is still set to become a free agent in January 2024, MJF has stated his deal was for more money. MJF often states that he has plans for promotions to fight for him in the bidding war for 2024. He discussing his upcoming free agency, quoted by MJF, "Whoever's going to offer me the most amount of money is where I'm going to go." That's interesting. So this was recently, and it says he signs a new deal, not a contract extension. So he still could be a free agent, but not extended. So do you guys think that MJF is going to leave AEW, or is he going to stay? once that time comes, because it's not a contract extension. Will he resign officially once January comes around? Now, I know WWE said there were no talks with WWE regarding MJF resigning. None at all. Now, also, if he were to go to WWE, who would he face the most? Will he face The Miz? Will he have good feuds with other guys like Shinsuke, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, etc., etc.? Or should he stay AEW? Because we know Will Ospreay just re-signed. He signed, not re-signed, but signed a deal with AEW. So Will Ospreay is going to sign with AEW. He's going to stay there. He's going to be there now. Will MJF follow suit, or will he leave officially? Well, he did not sign a contract extension, but they saying that he did. He's going to more likely stay in AEW. What do you guys think of that? MJF, his injury, and then staying with AEW. What do you guys expect of that? That's going to be interesting for MJF. He's been doing great as a AEW World Champ. He had a little minor injury. Then he's going to stay AEW. So MJF, remember, he's only 27 years old. 26 years old, I believe. So he has a bright future ahead of him. But I think AEW will be a good move for him to stay there. WWE, if he goes there, his character will be a little watered down, in my opinion. He won't be able to be on the level of the Devil and, have the very raunchy promos that he has, especially at the media scrums that he has with AEW. That's the question. Will he be able to do at WWE? And that's what we know, because WWE is of course, a corporation, not a private company like AEW, and it's a family-friendly product. So I think he'll be exactly like The Miz, which WWE already has a character like that. So him staying in AEW or even going to TNA, that would help him too. But WWE will offer the most money, but will his character be the same, or will that completely change his character? Could he, be able to, take advantage of that and still capitalize like he's been doing with AEW since day one? Because he is a pillar of AEW. Let's not forget that. He's been here since 2019. Since the inception of this company. But that will be interesting to see what MJF's going to do. Very interesting what MJF's going to do. Great talent, great world champion. So I'm very interested to see how his career will pan out later on in the future, especially next year. So that would be interesting to see, and I'm looking forward to that with MJF. And that's all I have regarding the subject of the Locker Room of Wrestling News. This is for the November 23rd edition. You guys let me know in the live chat and in the comment section what you think of the wrestling news of MJF, Bryan Danielson, and Lex Luger. Soon two videos will pop up. One will be reaction to Ric Flair or Ric Flair passing away. Second, the real story behind Andrew Tess Martin. Until then, for another edition of Locker Room News, you guys leave the lockers. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. And we will get back to the lockers as soon as there's more news. But until then, it is OU